Welcome, I'll be reviewing Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 6. These are just kind of my running thoughts as I was watching the episode. Pike's La'an impression is spot on. I would love a combat training session with her. Threats never take breaks. It is so refreshing how the captain interacts with all the crew. He manages to balance being friendly with earning their respect. Poor Uhura, though. Talk about learning on the job when that ship charged them. I would be terrified. I'd be like, I'm on lesson 2, okay? I'm not ready to shoot at alien vessels. Every time I see Chief Kyle now, I'm like, what do you mean he's mean? What? He looks so nice. What is behind this rumor? I need the backstory. Like, next episode. Alert! Librarians reunion! When Cassandra showed up, I was like, ah! Sorry, she was my favorite on that show. This was just so awesome. For anyone who doesn't know, Rebecca, who plays Una, was also Eve on Librarians. But this immediately made me so hyped for this episode. Like, they could not do anything wrong from this point on because Cassandra. The flirting immediately went off the charts with Pike. And I was not sure how I felt about it because, I mean, we have Winona in episode 1, and now we have Cassandra. Like, how do you choose? I don't think I could. Actually, I totally get it, Pike. Dr. Mbanga is just breaking my heart. Only being able to see his daughter for tiny increments, watching her fade away, I just wanted to go through the screen to give him a hug. And then when Elder Gamal explained that they had no disease on the planet because of state-of-the-art medical advances, you could almost see that hope begin to grow in his eyes, that maybe this would be the cure. It was a brilliant idea to have Uhura doing these department rotations because we get to see her in all sorts of different situations and roles, exploring what it is to be in Starfleet. And La'an's continuous lessons were quite intriguing. At this point, we were up to lesson 3, and I was really beginning to worry about what is lesson 7 that Pike warned about. Like, how bad could it be? The culture here is fascinating. Science, service, sacrifice, charisms. Oath coins, the first servant, the Sky Garden, Festival of Gratitude. Incredible world building, and all for a single episode. The architecture and fashion on this planet is like Naboo meets Minas Tirith. Like, I love it so much. My first reaction seeing it was, I want to live here. And then at the end of the episode, I was like, oh, no. No, thank you. Nope. All right, at this point, Elder Gamal was acting super sus. What is this mysterious colony all about? They aren't telling us something. What an incredible setting for the mini combat sequence. This show is just so beautiful. I wonder what location they shot in for this. I googled around for a while and couldn't find it, so if you know where this is, please let me know, because, ooh, it looks beautiful. It reminded me a little bit of the Dorne sequences in Game of Thrones, and I know not everyone liked them, but I really enjoyed that gorgeous palace and the fight sequences there, and this kind of was a callback to that for me. Speaking of which, nice takedown by Alora. She may look elegant, but she's feisty. I may have liberated them. Oh, La'an. She may give off I'm lawful good vibes, but she's chaotic at heart. I so want to be with Uhura on this rotation. Like, where do I sign up? Star Trek Universe goals right here. Look at this elaborate gateway. Inside the house. You know what? If I ever have my own place, I'm gonna put one in. I don't care where, just somewhere. In a random hallway. And visitors will be like, why do you have this over-the-top iron gateway? And I'll be like, Star Trek. Also, she knows what she wants, which is Pike. It was kind of a lovely moment between the two of them because you could see that he felt comfortable enough in the moment to really be honest with her about what was going on and his future fate. It's rare that you can find someone that you trust enough to share your true inner feelings with, and at least for a few minutes, He found someone. Uhura's excitement at impressing La'an was so adorable. Look at this smile. And she confirmed what I suspected, that something extremely fishy was going on. So maybe the planet is not all pretty gardens and science. Why would someone leave this place for a barren outpost? Sensing a terrible secret there. It would have to be pretty bad to leave Naboo/Minas Tirith. When that ship blew up, with the kid presumably on it, I was like, I don't think so. This is a bit convenient. I think he's probably fine. I don't know where, but somewhere. In case you can't tell, La'an is my favorite character. But I'm so proud of her right here, because she stood up for Uhura. When Elder Gamal was coming after her and trying to undermine her, La'an was like, oh no, not on my watch. It is so heartwarming to see someone in a leadership position see themselves as also a team player. I've seen so many leaders just totally throw their own employees under the bus rather than standing up for them and saying, we have solidarity here, we're a team. And here we saw La'an doing that. No hesitation. We're in this together. And I think that means a lot because it's so rare to see. So round of applause, both for Uhura unlocking Lesson 7 and for La'an being a genuinely good supervisor. It made me so happy to see Spock using the old school tricorder. I was grinning through the entire scene. I actually went back and rewatched it about 4 times. So embarrassing, but I did. And then when Allura started freaking out and going on about, oh, the volcanoes are going to destroy us, that kind of put 2 and 2 together for me. What if this sacrifice charism is literal? What if they're going to harm the first servant to save their planet? That would explain why the doctor and the guard kept ranting about, we're not traitors, we're trying to protect him. I think they're going to hurt the kid. But look at this gown. Isn't this beautiful? And we have another gorgeous headpiece. I think they're probably using a series of hair combs to keep it in place. Here's a closer look at it. Really lovely work here. I think they made a wireframe to ensure that it maintains shape. And then they either glued or individually wired on the beading. Normally, I would be like, I totally want to make this, but her character is just so evil. Because it looks like my theory was correct. They do sacrifice children. Just to keep their planet going. And now I understand why so many people went, okay, I am out. I'm headed for Prospect 7. I don't care how bad it is. I cannot deal with this. Because there is no way I could sleep at night knowing there is a child in a chair having their soul sucked away. Like, no. However, at least a little bit of good did come out of it, and that was for Dr. Mbanga and his daughter, because she now has a chance. It's not a full cure, but I think it's enough for him to ruminate on and at least help her stabilize for now. Maybe come out of the transporter for a little bit longer. It is one less option for Pike, though. No wonder he poured himself a very generous shot of whiskey in that final scene of him looking out. I really liked the twist of this episode because it seemed so straightforward in the beginning. Old flame, young protege, save the planet. And then they started giving us hints about what was really going on. So we're all like, okay, this seems wrong. Something's off. I don't know what yet. And then they reveal this horrifying child draining machine. And you're like, so that's why they didn't join the Federation. Outstanding performance as always by Lindy, aka Cassandra from Librarians, especially as she was trying to justify it to Pike. One child suffers and no other children suffer. Everyone gets to live in abundance. She did have a slight point about how so many worlds neglect thousands of children and just allow them to suffer because they turn away. They can't be bothered with fixing their society enough to help the children. And she was like, we don't turn away. I hate it when villains have a good point. Even though I am completely with Pike on this, I can also see how she persuaded herself that this was better, because clearly the rest of her planet is living really well. The one for the many taken to the extreme. And I'm glad that Star Trek brought this out because The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few should never be used as an excuse to harm the few. And that may seem like splitting hairs, but I think part of the point of this episode was to show that you should never ever use the Vulcan logic to justify harming anyone. Sometimes you have to make a really difficult choice, but you also need to use your conscience. And in this situation, you could see from Pike's reaction, no, this was wrong. You can't use the needs of the many just whenever you feel like it. On a much more lighthearted note, this left me wondering, are we going to get any other Librarians alumni? Because I would love that. My vote is for Ezekiel Jones next. He was one of my other favorites. I loved the episode where the dragons came to negotiate and he thought it was like the pizza person. Hey, do you have pepperoni? Oh, if you haven't seen the show, check it out. But well done, Strange New Worlds, another excellent episode. I saw a meme recently that Star Trek Strange New Worlds might be the strongest first season of Star Trek. And while I think original Trek probably was, I'd say this is number 2. They are doing such a good job. Live long and prosper.